Hi everyone, and welcome to American Firearms Network. Thank you so much for watching our show today. We really appreciate it. We hope you all like, subscribe, and share. We hope you enjoy our show. Today is a very serious topic. We have a lot to talk about this. We've been talking about it lately, and we just recently heard a story. Accidental and negligent discharges. Okay? This is so serious, and I can't even begin to tell you how careful you need to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, guys, anytime you go on the range, the first things that you need to do is to follow the 4 universal safety rules. Okay? It's quite easy. One of the main things and the most important thing is making sure you keep your finger off the trigger until you are ready to shoot. And I see so many people, even when they're pulling the gun out of the holster, their finger is literally on the trigger as they ride. They pull that gun out and the finger's on the trigger. Yeah. That's a no-no, okay? You've got to follow the 4 universal safety rules. When you're cleaning your gun, you should not have any ammunition around when you're cleaning your gun. You're going to always make sure you clear that gun. So you drop the magazine, look, if it's got ammo in it, you put it to one side, you rack that slide back a couple of times, not one time, a couple of times, and you visibly look inside the gun. And even if you have to put your finger inside, you do what you have to do to make sure that there's no ammo in that gun. Because I'm telling you, it doesn't matter how professional you are, if you don't follow those universal safety rules, you will have a problem.
Right, so what's the difference between accidental and negligent? Accidental is when the gun malfunctions, right? There's a problem with the actual gun. Negligent is on you.
Yeah.
It's when you make a mistake, and like Paul said, you're not following the safety rules, keeping your finger off the trigger, keeping that muzzle in a safe direction. That's when it's negligent. And it's negligent when, God forbid, someone gets shot and potentially killed because of your negligence.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So I've heard stories, I've seen the videos, I'm sure some of you guys have seen it, and as a chief range safety officer, I can't tell you, stories that I've heard being in all the different ranges, and also instructor Paul. It's not just for the new shooter, and here's a misconception that a lot of people say, right? Oh, I've been doing this forever, whatever. But even your military guys, your experienced shooters that have been training for years and shooting for years and going to the ranges forever, instructors, sometimes you're just not paying attention. You're tired. Okay.
Yes.
Maybe you put your gun away, but you didn't. Maybe this were too lazy for who knows, for whatever reason. Take the magazine out. You left it loaded. You left one in the chamber loaded. You're putting it. You're casing it. And you're like, at least it'll be ready for next time when I go to the range. I don't have to unload it or anything. That's common. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
And when they take it out just to check everything, and they want to just take to see what's going on, they take a shot of the gun. Sometimes not even racking. They just take and pulling the trigger. Boom.
Yeah.
It goes off.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Todd, one of the things, there's a couple of things I'm going to mention. The first thing is, I shoot in Jacksonville with a group of guys, okay? And I don't always go down there, but when I do go, it's great to see the guys. And we have a policy, there's about 5 of us, and we have a policy that we will do all the chatting, all the talking, all the high fives before we even take a gun out of the bag.
Right.
And the reason why we do that, we don't want to be laughing and saying high five and forgetting that we have a gun that's loaded. So when it's time for us to clear our guns, there's no more talking. Everybody is focused on what we're doing, and everybody watches each other. So we have this check where if you're going to take your gun out, I'm watching you, and I'm going to watch you clear that firearm. I'm going to watch you clear it, and then you're going to watch me clear it. And we go around and everybody clears their firearm. So we know that the firearms are safe before we go out on the line. Okay? So it's important to do that. Another thing I saw, let me give you this joke, and it was not a joke, but I went to the gun store, and a guy brought a gun in, and he had problems with the gun. And he opens up the case. It was a clock. And apparently, what happened, he didn't clear the gun when it came to the gun store. So the guy looks at the gun and he takes the gun from the guy and he said, "Did you clear it?" And the guy goes, "Yeah." And he drops the magazine, he racks the slide back, and there's a round in his chamber. And that guy, he went off the chain to this guy. He said, "You never ever bring a gun into this store with one in the chamber to my repair shop. You never do it."
Yep. This happens.
This happens
more than you think.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, and when I'm, in my little gun circles, some people admit to it. Like, "Oh yeah, I had an accidental discharge last week. This is what happens." It happens more than you think.
Yeah.
Don't think it's not going to happen. You got to be alert. You have to pay attention to the guns that you have, and you have to make sure that it is clear, okay? And if you get anything out of all the different safety rules, 2 things that you should have to know. When you're clearing it, okay, make sure that muzzle is pointed in a safe direction.
Please.
If you have a vest, a bulletproof vest or whatever, aim it towards that. Aim it towards, always in a safe direction, whatever that is. And then always keep your finger off the trigger. So muzzle discipline, trigger finger discipline. Always make sure that you do that, okay? This happens more than you can ever imagine, all right? And I had someone a couple of months ago who what's a common way this happens, right? They don't take the magazine out. They rack the slide, the bullet pops out of the chamber, but they don't realize that they're loading another one into the chamber because the magazine is still in there with cartridges in there.
Yeah.
So they're taking the bullet out, they don't take the magazine out, and another cartridge loaded into the chamber, they don't recognize that, boom, it goes off. You understand?
Right? That's a good point, Todd. But Todd, there's another way, another big way where people get into trouble. And I've seen it on the range where they're drawing from holster, concealment. And a lot of guys are not experienced when they're drawing, especially first-time shooters, even some intermediates. And I've watched them. How you pull that gun out of the holster is very important. I heard a few months ago a guy got shot on the range by doing the same thing. He drew his gun from out the holster, and as he was drawing his gun, he went back in. After he'd done his shot, he went back in the holster and he was riding that trigger as he went in, and the gun went off and shot him right in the thigh.
Most accidents, most negligent discharges happen reholstering your gun.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know that.
Yeah.
Reholstering your gun. That's when dry fire comes in. You can practice dry firing, just taking your gun, drawing from concealment, and then kneeling, bending your knees a little bit, bending back, and putting your gun back in your holster very, very safely with your finger off the trigger.
Yeah.
That's something that you should be practicing on a regular basis, because that's a good way to get yourself shot.
Yeah.
Okay?
So guys, I want to say this. Enjoy your time at the range. Enjoy your guns. But safety is the most important thing. If you're not safe, I don't care what kind of gun you've got. I don't care how good you are. Safety is the name of the game. And with saying that, go out, enjoy yourself, and be safe, and take care.